Hello everyone, he's Meo.
And he's Kido.
And we're gonna go talk about She-Hulk Attorney at Law episode 2. I forget the name of the episode. There's really not much to discuss in this episode, so we're just gonna go hit some quick bullet points and move on.
First point, there's the part in the beginning of this episode where we get this sort of cringy, I don't know what you'd call that, a cold open before the She-Hulk official logo comes up and everything, about how She-Hulk gets her name.
Can you tell us about what you saw today?
Yeah. So this chick, pretty decent, turned into a Hulk, like a chick Hulk.
A She-Hulk?
Exactly.
It's a little confusing with this show. I know it's a comedy, but it's just so off. I don't know whether that was intentional or not. It's just very almost goofy, but it's kind of cringy and dumb at the same time.
It's really hard to tell whether they intended it to come off so awkward. I don't know.
Also, it's kind of cool open to the beginning before the title thing goes, but then we also get an entire bar scene before the title actually pops up.
That is true. The title pops up kind of late into the episode. But the episode's so short that by this point, you're almost like a third of the way into the episode.
Next point was at the bar. Everyone's calling her She-Hulk already, so I guess this is some kind of like really important thing in the area. And I'm confused. Did they already know that she's going to go to the bar? It's never really explained, I don't think.
Yeah, are these other lawyers, other people in her law firm? Are they just local people that she knows? Do they know her?
And even when she's been there for a while, they still keep on chanting She-Hulk for a little bit, so it just seems kind of weird. Like you don't see anyone really like pulling out the phone, like taking pictures and stuff that often.
Yeah, no one actually comes up to
much.
talk to her, yeah. And they just chant She-Hulk, She-Hulk. It doesn't seem like they had that many extras to fill the bar, and so when she goes in, they're like, She-Hulk, She-Hulk, and then she walks past, and she's clearly like a celebrity or whatever, but then she sits in her corner and everyone just leaves her alone.
Yeah.
And nobody even, like in the background, nobody even looks at her.
Have a separate point. It's a little odd that Titana didn't, I think that's her name, didn't pop up again this episode. It's kind of like, oh, she's a superpowered influencer kind of thing. It's like, you think we get a little more explanation of her character? Considering the fact that she only popped up for like maybe 30 seconds in the last episode. I think we'd be a little more explanation as opposed to just moving on. That's neither here nor there.
Right. I don't think her character actually has any lines of the TV show so far.
No, she does. Who the heck are you?
Oh, okay. So she has one.
White toxic guy.
Oh yeah, toxic white co-worker who later in this episode she gets fired. So former co-worker. What do you want to bet that eventually she's going to have to be in a case against her former law firm and he's going to be representing it?
I can see that happening.
But anyway, yeah, he walks up and then he talks to her saying that, oh, you just unveiled your powers to get attention, which isn't a very, I don't know. I can see where they're going with that, but I mean, realistically speaking here,
Oh, the characters aren't necessarily supposed to be realistic.
this is true, but he doesn't ask any questions about he does ask how do you get your powers, but then first he opens up with like, oh, nice move, getting notoriety for yourself and all this kind of stuff, which, I mean, that's his character, sure, but he's written very clunkily.
Yeah. And then before he leaves, he says like, hey, the other thing is he starts looking at some girl. I don't really know where, actually. I didn't see anyone in there. But he just says, oh, there's a chick sorry, I can't talk. Too late in the day. There's a chick over there. I'm going to go talk to it.
There's a hot chick over there. I'm gonna go talk to it. Do it.
It's like, you have to search real deep into the to the dredges of society to find someone who's going to say like, oh, there's a chick over there. I'm going to go talk to it. And he says it like clearly like instead of like her. They deliberately wrote it so that he says it instead. It's like, it's way too pointed, and it's just totally weird.
Yeah, I can see that happening in very few instances, and in most of those I can imagine it being a joke. I'm not sure how, like if there's some kind of like running joke going on or something. And it's also not really clear whether they're friends, because he comes up to her and talks to her like she's some kind of competition or something, but then he like talks to her about, oh, there's a hot chick over there, I'm gonna go talk to it. Kind of like she's his friend, but they don't seem to like each other at all.
And surprisingly, she doesn't have any reaction to that.
Not at all. So is this like an ongoing thing? How he talks? Very confusing. So yeah, I feel like this could have been an instance where this happened maybe in one of the writers' lives once, but it's such an isolated incident. I doubt it'll ever happen again.
Still on the bar scene. If anyone knows about this, then feel free to answer a question. She turns back into Jen form. She acts drunk, but I thought that the entire point was that she burns through the alcohol faster, metabolizes it faster. So I thought that's why she didn't get drunk. So why does she still act drunk? Is it the thing that there's still like alcohol in her system?
And is that only in all Hulk form that happens? Because it seems the Bruce, his whole body.
Bruce. Bruce. Well, I guess I literally was gonna say Bruce, and never mind.
Oh, whatever. Anyway, Bruce, some of his powers, I believe, at least in the comic books, you're gonna correct me if I'm wrong. I believe some of the things like the healing factor and other types of stuff, like invulnerability to radiation, metabolism, stuff like that, still works just as well when he's Bruce Banner, or at the very least, it triggers a Hulk transformation, like with the knockout gas in Incredible Hulk.
Yeah.
Or whatever it was, that kind of gas. It didn't really affect him that much. He just turned into the Hulk, so it's kind of unclear. But yeah, I would think that it would have burned off the alcohol, so when she transforms, there's no alcohol in the system, or at the very least, while she's in her human form, the same thing would happen. And also, the actress doesn't do a very good job of acting drunk.
No. I've seen other actors and actresses do a better job and slightly more convincing. I don't know if it's supposed to be humorous, but even in a humorous setting, it is not very good. It was not very funny at all. She calls out some other superheroes.
Vigilante, that is for billionaires and narcissists, and adult orphans for some reason.
Yeah, this is something that we also discussed in our first trailer reaction review, whatever it was, our first video on the channel. We discussed these kind of scenes and how we don't like them.
Oh yeah, she can't get a job in this episode. So I guess her character is struggling. Because we didn't mention it in the last review and someone, I guess, called us out for it. Or I guess they wanted us to mention that because we didn't get... I don't know. I figured everyone else was talking about it, so, whatever. But for the sake of the argument, we'll talk about it now. It's her saying that she struggles... I don't know. It's like she implied that she struggles more, or like she struggles quite a bit in comparison to Bruce in episode 1. It's like, she gets catcalled and people have to mansplain to her and everything else like that. It's like, listen, let's assume that actually happens because we don't really see that much evidence of it. That's still not that bad compared to what everyone else has to go through. It's like one of those kind of videos with like, no, so-and-so is a tragic character. Like, name one character that suffered more than this character or whatever.
Yeah, like people who try to defend Rey Skywalker, saying, her character struggle and journey and everything, and it was nothing. It was weak. Some weak sauce was thrown at her.
Yeah.
And
go ahead. I was gonna say maybe just for content's sake, we can go make a video on that later if we have time.
But yeah, she's talking about this to Bruce, and we've seen through the movies, he's gone through a lot of stuff, so this is the wrong person to be telling this to.
Yeah, had to leave his girlfriend, has to live on the run, can't really have family connections. In fact, even in the very episode itself, she mentions some bad things. It's like, I don't want to be like you because you have to deal with this and this and that. It's like, yeah, I don't know, it's kind of weird to have them in the same episode. But back to episode 2. Now she can't get a job, and I guess her character is struggling and stuff.
There's one part, which I assume she's just kind of complaining and venting. The character so far in these 2 episodes, it does a lot of whining, which I hope that the character matures over the course of the series and eventually maybe learn some humility and also some self-sacrifice, and learning how important that is and everything. But there's one part where she's talking to her dad and she's like, maybe I should have let those people get crushed by that desk, I don't know. And I don't know how long this occurs, over what time period this occurs that she's been out of work, but thinking, I lost my job. And we see her house that she lives in is still pretty nice.
Yeah.
And so she's clearly not struggling, she's just looking for a job, but then she's acting, woe is me, it's terrible, my life is ruined. And I don't know if she's seriously saying that, like, maybe I should let those people get hit by the desk. I assume it is just like
I assume not.
A little self-rant, just talking out loud kind of thing. But still, that shows a very self-centered character to even consider that or to entertain the thought.
But maybe it's part of her character development.
It could be.
Later, after she gets hired really quickly, there's like some fourth wall break scenes because like, I just want to go enjoy my job, but because it seems like they just hired me because I'm She-Hulk.
I am totally qualified, but now everyone around here is always going to think this is the only reason I got the job. It's so unfair.
Everyone's not going to like me, even though in this particular company, we actually don't know why these people were hired. Other than that, there's some fourth wall break scenes, and those don't really work very well because she's talking to the camera first, and then we switch away to go look at some other thing, and then we switch back to her still continuing with the fourth wall break. It just kind of messes up the narration a little bit. I haven't seen that many things with fourth wall breaks, but I don't know, it just seemed a little weird to me.
Yeah, I think it would have been better if it was a one continuous fourth wall break, where she explains all of her feelings in one section, maybe pauses, like they stop walking, she turns to the camera and talks a little bit.
Like a comic book or something.
Yeah, like a comic book. I feel that would be a little bit easier to get because she's constantly doing it, and it's a bit unclear when we're in and out of it,
Yeah.
Yep.
Also this like random scene Just like, of course, like there's the, there's one part with the white guys in the conference room. It's like, oh, look, some white guys just laughing and being all goofy and I guess stupid or whatever. And it's like, those guys never had to go deal with this. It's like, yeah, they probably had to deal with something that was quite possibly worse, because you're complaining that, oh, no one's gonna like me because they're gonna think that I just got hired for this specific reason. I don't think that really works, because that means that you got to do a promote to a very high area. Let's say that you're going to say like, oh, white men are all in the high area because like it's male dominated and everything. It's like, that means that they got promoted by privilege just like you, or they had to go work themselves up from the very bottom, which means they probably have to suffer more than you.
Right. I mean, I can understand the feeling that you want to be, known for being skilled in your field, but you can still do it. You can prove yourself once you get in that position.
Seems like just kind of a random weird thing to complain about. I don't think it's really justified, but maybe that's part of a character.
It could be. Also, a lot of these people probably heard about the case at least, because that guy was impressed.
Yeah, that's why she got hired in the first place.
Right. Just, you can explain that. Or don't explain it with words. You don't need to prove yourself with words, just your actions speak louder.
While she's in the office, there's this very random guy just walks in with a welcome basket, and he's pretty weird and awkward.
Knock, knock. Hi there, I'm Pug. I'm also in the Superhuman Law Division.
Oh, I'm Jennifer Walters.
I made you guys a welcome basket.
Oh!
It's got some office supplies to get you started, snacks, and a map to the best bathroom for pooping.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm not sure what I'm supposed to gain from this scene. We learn nothing but the fact that there's this guy. I think he says his name.
He's a little weird.
And he says, here's a welcome basket, and he tells him where the bathroom is.
Yeah, I don't really... Like, is it supposed to be funny?
I feel it was supposed to be played for humor, but I didn't find it funny.
Is he going to be like a reoccurring character? I don't know. So it's very weird. Anyway, moving along, she has to go take a case for Emil Blonsky, so she has to go talk to him.
Yeah, and we get a scene where she talks to Emil Blonsky about his case, or specifically about him, because she's deciding whether or not to take on the case because of his connection with Bruce and all that. And the scene lasts way too long. It is, I think, nearly somewhere between 4 and 5 minutes long.
No, I think between 3 and 5 at least.
Okay, between 3 and 5. Somewhere between 3 and 5 minutes long, and there's no music.
And there are some parts that's supposed to be kind of funny, but they don't really work very well. I mean, I can only complain so much about that just because I didn't find it humorous. I know there's some people out there that think this show is funny. If you think the show is funny, feel free to go drop a clip in the comments below, although we might actually have links blocked. I don't know.
But yeah, let us know what scene that you found hilarious.
Indeed, just so we can go check it out. Which brings on to a last point. The show still isn't funny. In our opinion. I don't know. It's like the direction, the jokes just don't hit. Like, you can tell when they're supposed to be jokes, they just don't land. Like, it's the delivery, it's also just the fact that the joke itself lasts too long. It just doesn't have any punch to it.
Right, all the characters kind of act in sort of a comedic way, but I feel especially for the main character, she almost always acts like that, kind of goofy a little bit, little like here I am doing my thing.
Oh, hold on, a quick note on the fourth wall breaks. I was thinking, like, the very last one, where she's like, oh, that sucks. It's like, that's supposed to be funny, or like when I don't know, just all the fourth wall breaks aren't funny, really. But continue on with what you were saying.
But the mannerisms, I feel they're a little over the top. They're kind of they're kind of goofy. It's like, sure, you can have a show like that where there's these things, but then the issue is there aren't really any like straight men in the series to balance it out or to react to things, because she's also kind of goofy and acts sort of weird, and you never have any really serious scenes to contrast the comedic ones. And a lot of the humor, this is one thing I just was thinking about, a lot of the humor seems to revolve around somebody talking and then somebody not listening to that person talking, or trying to talk but they can't get a word in.
Yeah.
Could just be a thing for this episode, because she has a couple of conversations where she's like just spilling out her feelings and just spilling them, and somebody else is just listening.
I think that's like, two moments of play off in a very similar way. So I'm not sure if that's supposed to be then like, oh, that's what her character is, or whether this is supposed to be for laughs. Oh yeah, quick note, back into around the beginning of the episode. She has her family dinner, and this is a quick point, but I'm a little confused by the scene just because I'm trying to think that the family is weird, quirky, or a bad family, or a good, wholesome family. I don't know, it's not really clear what the point of her being at her family dinner was supposed to accomplish. She just talks to her dad, and I guess that encourages her to do something, because then she just ends up in a bar, and then she gets a job. So I really don't know what this scene accomplished.
Kind of difficult to determine what all these scenes mean sometimes.
Indeed. I see like a lot of the humor from the actress is, like I think like you said earlier, just like pulling like, oh, these expressions and everything. But yeah, there's really not, I don't know, there's not much subtle humor. There's just, I don't know, this humor just doesn't work for some reason.
I wish the show would just be funny without being funny. It's trying a bit too hard, I think.
Anyway, is that all?
Yeah, those are just some of our thoughts on She-Hulk so far. We're 2 episodes in. We're 2
How is it that is... Okay, fine. We're just gonna hit bullet points, but this is longer than the other episode.
It's fine. But anyway, if you like these comic videos, go ahead and let us know in the comments down below.
Indeed, and we're trying to go unlock the community tab, so feel free to hit that subscribe button. We're almost at 500 subscribers, roughly. You need like 120 something more, but you can help us get there, so please consider liking and subscribing.
Indeedy do.
And if you can't think of anything else to comment below. Law.
If you can't think of anything else.
Until next time,
He's Kido.
and he's Meo.
And have a blessed day.
Bye.